for joining me live from the grooming table. I am certified professional pet groomer Amy Lee, and it is absolutely my pleasure to share the secrets of the pet grooming industry with you so you can provide quality care for your beloved pets at home. And that's what we do right here every Monday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, live from the grooming table. That's where we're at, guys. We meet here every week. One of my goals here on my YouTube channel is to bring a new voice to the pet grooming industry, one that includes pet owners as valuable consumers and not just pet groomers, pet owners. So we're doing an awesome job of that right here on Go Groomer, and we're just going to continue on. Tonight's topic is a good one. Wow, I got stuff laid out all over the place, guys. I better be careful where I step. I might trip over a tool. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Tonight's topic is everything dog grooming explained. How do you do that in one live stream? Well, I guess I better talk faster. We're going to be talking about things such as dog grooming, scissor, clipping, bathing, and brushing methods, specifically. What is the difference between shear types? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about dog grooming clipper types. There's all kinds of clippers, and I get a lot of questions from you guys. Is this clipper okay for my Bichon? Is this clipper okay for my Maltese? Or blah, 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 blah. We're going to talk about that, okay? We're also going to talk about, can all dog coat types be clipped? And why? Meaning, can all dog breeds get a haircut? Is it safe to assume they all can? We're going to talk about that. We will also discuss injuries that can be a result of improper grooming tools or methods. We must talk about that because safety is one of the biggest reasons why we get together. Secondly is to obviously take care of our pets, provide grooming and health, skin and coat remedies for everything. There's a remedy for everything, and we share that. These secrets are no longer secrets here on this Go Groomer YouTube channel now, are they? We're sharing it. So we're also going to talk about when to use snap-on combs versus clipper blades. You know, that's a great topic. We're going to talk about that tonight. All these things. These are guard combs. We call them snap-on comb, guard attachment, guard combs. You'll hear them called many things. We're going to talk about these, how to use them, what clippers they work on, and why would you use them? How do you use them too? Why would you want to use snap-on combs? And if you use snap-on combs, do you still have to use scissors? Does a snap-on comb completely eliminate that? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why are there different types of dog grooming brushes? There are many. Why is that? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about bathing tips that are very important bathing tips. There's all kinds of bathing tips we could talk about, but you know I have thousands of videos on my channel that can help you with any issue you're having with your pet. But we're going to focus on those important bathing tips. I don't want to throw too much at you at once. I want you to remember and retain this. We have to remember to always use products that are recommended for our pets, that are pH balanced for dogs and cats, especially when we're talking about shampoo and conditioner. That's really important. So, that's just a few things that we're going to get chatty about tonight, guys. After I run through some of my explanations and demonstrations here with you guys, I am also going to be taking your questions specifically so that I can help you, jump over those hurdles that you might be struggling with. So don't forget, I'm going to throw this in the chat. I know my Nightbot's got me covered too. This is how you ask a question. You just press and hold that dashed line and then type in your question. Then I'll clearly be able to see in the chat that you have a question, and we'll be able to get the answer that you're looking for. So before we get going here, guys, and I forget, I want to show you something that was sent to me. There's a company called Pet Lovies. It's linked in the description of this video. Pet Lovies is an online service that allows you to upload your favorite picture or pose or whatever of your dog, preferably like a portrait style. You guys might have seen this on my Instagram today. This is Big Gus. They sent this to me. They asked me to upload a picture of one of my dogs, and I thought, well, we'll go with our Big Gus. He's so majestic looking. Now look, he looks like some type of colonel or general, or he just looks very military-like and serious. But anyway, and it's framed so nicely. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they have all different sizes, all different prices. It's kind of cool. It would make a cool gift. So I agreed to it because I think this is something my audience would like. So I said, sure, send me one. Let's check it out. I'll share this with my audience. And they promptly did. They were wonderful to work with. They sent me a proof, a digital proof before they said, is this okay? Do you like it? Do you want us to change anything? And I said, oh, no, that's great. I love it. So that's what they sent. And it came, within 3 days. They're based out of New York City, I believe. And they have a lot of different options. So go check out their website. It is linked in the description below, called Pet Lovies. And you would upload a digital photograph of your beloved pet, or your mom's beloved pet, or your sisters, or your brothers, or your husbands, or your aunts, or your uncles. It would make a nice gift. Definitely would surprise somebody who really loves their pet. You know, if you came up with some, as a birthday or Christmas gift or something and said, this is what I got you, Who wouldn't love that of their pet? And you can put it anywhere. You can go put it in your office. You can put it in your bedroom, You can put it in your bathroom, in your dressing room, Whatever, in your grooming salon. If you're groomers, you can actually become affiliated with the company if you'd like. You could have a couple samples hanging in your shop. I'm sure that the company would work with you on that and have you be an affiliate, and you could actually sell them to your clients. People are always looking for good reasons to do something like this, especially for a gift. That would be, and obviously we love our pets so much. I mean, a lot of people will just look at it and go, I have to do that for my dog, So that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. I think it's pretty cool, and I thought you would enjoy it. So now I have a beautiful picture of my Lieutenant Gus. It's very nice quality. I really like it. So hubby walks in last week and he goes, what is that? So that's Gus, when he was in the military. All right, guys, let's jump into this. We've got a lot of ground to cover, and I have questions to answer for you all too. So we're going to start at the top here. I have definitely some notes, some bullet points of things that I do not want to forget. So, dog grooming, scissor, clipping, bathing, and brushing methods. Do they matter? Absolutely. It matters how you use your scissors. Shoot, which is something I forgot to grab is scissors, because I am going to show you how to use your scissors. Hang on a second, guys. Let me get some. Let me get a couple pair. Here, this one's a nice big one. All right, perfect. You'll be able to see these. Great. Okay, so we got our shears. What's the difference between shear types? So you'll hear me refer to, and I should have grabbed a curve. Do I have a curve? Hold on, I got to show you. I was down here scurrying around trying to get all these things ready. Oh yeah, there's a big curve. You'll be able to see that. Good. So we have what's called a straight shear. You can see it is absolutely straight. There's no curve to it. Then we have curved shears. This one is just slightly curved. Some of them are exaggerated a lot more on that curve. It just depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so this is a curved shear. This is a straight shear. One thing that you will notice on most curved shears, but you do not notice it on this one, is they often will have a finger rest on both the thumb hole and the finger hole, meaning that you can flip it. So you can also curve your shears this way, as well as curve your shears this way if you were scissoring a poodle top knot. This one doesn't have one, so probably why I got a good deal on it years and years ago. But you will often see that both finger holes have a finger rest so that you can flip it, because the idea is definitely to always have that pinky and the pinky rest, because it helps you to balance your shear. So this is a curve, this is a straight, and this is a blender. Yeah, yes, this is a chunky blender. So some people will refer to these as a chunker because they take a lot of coat. You can see that. The more space between the teeth, the more coat it's going to take. So obviously if it had many more teeth, it's not going to take as much. It's going to do a better job of blending. This is going to do a better job of removing coat. So, however, this is still a blending shear. Don't confuse yourself. So is my Jonathan David Lightning shear, which is made by Kenchi. So is my Jody Murphy blending shear. That is the outliner. Well, I have the outliner, the detailer, the blending, and the shaper. I have all of hers. But anyway, they are all blending shears, okay? And we use them. I use blending shears actually in a scissor action. So I use my blending shears instead of scissors sometimes. And what we use our scissors for is to remove large amounts of coat and cut. We're cutting in the patterns, we're cutting in the legs, we're trimming around the feet and the paws, we're trimming ears, trimming top knots. That's why groomers like to often have at least an 8-inch shear. An 8-inch is pretty typical, 7.5 to 8. Some people like a shorter shear. Say this were a straight. I don't like a short, straight shear. Because remember when we're scissoring dogs, which I do I have Vader. I have Vader. When we're scissoring dogs, we're not scissoring like our hairdresser where she's combing up a section of hair and nipping just with the tips of her shears, nipping the ends. When we trim dogs, we're combing the hair up and we want that hair to stand out or to stay in place. And then we come in with our shears and we scissor the shape that we're looking for. We're scissoring the shape. It's a completely different technique as somebody would be using to trim human hair. So that's the idea of having a larger shear. It covers more area. So if I were scissoring the top line of this dog, you know, I don't have to make 15 cuts. I can make 5, you know, because my shear is covering some ground. That's the reason why, typically that's the reason why dog shears are larger on the cutting, on the edge, than human beauty shears, is because we are covering more ground for trimming around a leg, okay? So that's why ours are bigger. And to me, it's necessary. A lot of people say, it doesn't feel good to me to have an 8-inch shear. But I learned with an 8-inch, and I've just never really liked anything else. Also, when I use this shear, an 8-inch shear or an 8.5, I like that too. I don't have to move my thumb too much, and I'm trimming a lot of area. I can also very much so control if I'm trimming around the ears of a Schnauzer or tipping the ears of a Yorkshire Terrier. I can just barely open, and I'm just moving the tip of my shear. I'm not even opening this, so I don't have to worry about catching skin because I'm only operating the tip of my shear. So when I'm trimming around those ears, come here, Vader. Trimming around little Vader's ears, I have a lot of control over that. See? And I always pinch my finger and my thumb right at the ear leather if I'm trimming a clean ear like this, so that I know I'm only trimming hair. But that's why I like a larger shear, because not only can I cover a lot of ground if I'm trimming a top knot, I can also use it for the fine detailed area where I'm just using the tip, but I'm not even opening this part of my blade, which is much safer in my opinion. I don't have to worry about catching skin here. The only thing that's cutting right now is this part of my shear. Also, that's very nice to use around paw pads, you know. You can just use the tip of your shear, and you're just using this part of your shear. You're not using the meat of your shear. The only time I'm using the meat of my shear when I'm really scissoring. a shape. So I hope that brings that together a little better for you guys. I also want to show you how to properly hold your shears real quick, since we have a pair of shears in my hand. So the only thing that you use to operate your shears is your ring finger. Your thumb is the only thing that actually operates your shears. So you use your ring finger, your first finger, and your thumb and your pinky to balance the shears. So in your ring finger holder, put your ring finger not all the way through like that, just resting in there. And then you're going to put your pinky on the pinky rest, and you're going to balance the shear in your finger. You're holding the weight of the shear, and you're just going to rest your thumb, and look how my thumb is just sitting in there. It's not going through. If it were, I do have a thumb rest in here. These you can get on any website that sells grooming supplies. Kenshi has tons of them. So does Groomer's Choice, Pet Edge, Chewy.com, anywhere, even Amazon, guys. These are called finger inserts. I need them, or my thumb would tend to want to slip through most of the holes on most of my shears. So this keeps my thumb just resting right in there like I like it. And the only thing that you're moving is your thumb. And it takes a little practice. And I saw something on Grooms by Rudy, which was really cool. He had like a stationary item. And he said, just practice scissoring around an object, whether it's a can, a fake dog like Vader, and practice. If it's your child's stuffed animal, practice moving your shear, moving your thumb only, properly balancing your shear by using your first finger to rest the shear so you can maneuver your shear. You want to hold your wrist and your arm straight, but you can flip that wrist if you need to. I do quite often. And you just want to kind of keep your arm and your wrist in a cast. And use that thumb to maneuver your shear. If you're scissoring and you have your shear turned 45-degree angle, you're going to get a 45-degree angle. You're going to get chop marks. So if you're scissoring down the leg of your dog, you want to make sure this is 90 degrees, not 45 degrees. 90 degrees. And you'll get a straight line, okay? So that's my spiel on scissors. Now, get out of here, scissors. All right, what's next? Let me look at my notes. We're going to cover a lot of ground here today. We talked about dog grooming shears versus beauty shears. You can use both on a dog or vice versa. The reason hairstylists don't choose to use our larger bladed dog grooming shears is because they don't need to cover that much ground. They typically just use the tip of their shear and they're holding up and snipping, holding up and snipping. Whereas with dog grooming, we're combing that hair up and scissoring off a lot at a time. So that's why our shears are typically bigger. You can use both either way. Beauty scissors tend to be smaller because it's easier for them to handle, and the methods that they use to cut hair. They're different than the methods we use to trim dog hair. All right, so dog grooming clipper types and which one you should use for your dog. Boy, is this a topic I get asked a lot. Well, currently, guys, I have two clippers that I use on a daily basis. The one that I absolutely couldn't do without is my detachable blade clipper. And you know this happens to be called the Wall KM10. This is my favorite guy. I like him a lot. We're very good friends. We've been hanging out for many years. But what I want you to know about this clipper is this is a detachable blade clipper. You've heard me say that several times. This is the one clipper that I couldn't do without as a professional groomer. And why? Because it's a detachable blade, all I have to do is press this blade release right here and I can remove my clipper blade. This happens to be a 10, which I would use a number 10 blade. If I were using guard combs, I would use a number 10 blade under this, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Don't be scared. Don't leave. I also will be able to use a 5, a 4, a 7 blade, a 30 blade if I wanted to use that in the pads of feet or under my guard combs. I could use that as well. Or if I was trimming a continental clip on a standard poodle for a show, I might be using a 30 or 40 blade. But other than that, I wouldn't use that on a pet. Not a pet trim. But why this detachable blade clipper is important is because you can do everything you need to do with this clipper. It's powerful enough that if you have to do a full groom, no problem. If you're, buzzing through a heavy doodle coat, or you're buzzing through a heavy, a Bichon or a thick poodle, even our Caribou Terriers and our Wheaton Terriers, these are thicker coats. And they tend to want to bog down some clippers. So that's where I like the Wool KM10, because it has the power to rev up the speed if it feels like it's getting pushback from the coat. It has the power to go whoosh and push right through it. So that's important. You can get 1 and 2 speed clippers by Andis, by Wall, that don't have that extra strong strength and power. So if you're clipping a very heavy coat, like a poodle or a doodle, this really would be the only clipper that you need, because you can use a number 10 blade on there to do your sanitary trimming, because we only use a 10 blade in the sanitary area. That's all that's safe. Anything else could cause major irritation or cut your dog. So remember that. Detachable blade clippers means that the blade sits on a blade seat like this. You turn your clipper on, and that moves your blade drive. You can see it moving in there. And you just close that blade, it locks it right into place. This is a 2-speed clipper. I like a 2-speed clipper because the single-speed clipper is nice if you're new and you're a little slower at trimming. It's not going to heat up your blade as quickly. Okay? If you want that extra power, we've got that 2-speed, and this clipper is very powerful. So I get asked the question a lot, do I need a Wall KM10? Can I use the Andis Ultra Edge? Can I buy the Andis 2-speed AGC? Absolutely. They're all good clippers. I like this one better because I have yet to replace anything on it but the cord, because I trip over it all the time. That's my fault. But that's it. Not even that blade drive. That's something that on most of your Andis clippers, you'll be replacing about every 4 months. Maybe, if you're lucky, once a year. I haven't even replaced this one yet. I've had this clipper, it's got to be 6 years, maybe more. It's insane. That's insane. That's why I recommend it to you guys, because the longevity of it has proven to me that for the price of the Wall KM10 versus an Andis 2-speed, what is the difference? $5? Maybe 10? Maybe nothing? That's why I say go for this one, because it is better. That's why I say it. Now, the second clipper that I like to use this is one of my favorite clippers right here. This is a Kinchy Flash. It's a 4-in-1 clipper. What that means is it has 4 different settings on the same blade. Now, that's confusing you guys, because you go, Amy, you're always saying we have to use a detachable blade clipper. How would we use this? Well, this particular guy, this little Kinchy Flash, he's very lightweight. He's quiet. He doesn't vibrate as much as my detachable blade clipper, but the blade is much finer. It's a nice little smooth clip, but it all plays into why it's so quiet, why it's so smooth, why it doesn't vibrate as much, and why a lot of dogs tolerate it more around the face or even around their feet. It's just more, it's more gentler for the dog. They don't recognize the vibration as much and stuff like that. So I really love it. But one thing that I like about it as a professional is that it is lightweight, and that if I want to, with this particular Flash clipper, this is a 4-in-1 clipper. You've seen 5-in-1 clippers, the Wall Bravera, the Cremato, the Arco. All those are 5-in-1 clippers. What they don't do that this one does is, well, other than this one has adjustable speed, which is quite nice. I can set it from 1 to 5. But what they also don't have is the ability to put a number 5 blade or a 7 blade or a 4 blade or a 3 blade. Now you really kind of just turned this little guy into a detachable blade clipper. What I like about this is it is actually powerful, believe it or not. I was very surprised. I bought these extra blades because I wanted to find out for you guys, because I knew you'd be asking, can I use it on my Bichon? Can I use it on my Cocker Spaniel? Can I use it on my Golden Doodle? You actually can. This clipper will do it. So I want to make that known. Now, you're thinking, well, then why would I buy the Wall KM10? Well, this one is more powerful. It can do the same, everything that this guy can do, this guy can do. But what this guy can also do is we can use these nice stainless steel Wall metal guard combs over a 10 blade or a 15 or a 30, and now we'll be able to leave even more length on our dog, length of coat, because that is what determines the length of cut on your dog, guys, is the distance from this cutting blade, which is right there, because you can see how it hooks onto, let me just see if I can help you. You can see how it hooks onto the 10 blade. So it just basically adds an extension of length from here. Gosh, this is so hard. From here to here. That's how much length approximately it's going to leave. So the reason I would prefer to see this detachable blade clipper, and you can use these guard combs on any detachable blade and detachable blade clipper, such as your Andis AGC 2-speed detachable blade. Conair makes a detachable blade clipper. It has to say detachable blade clipper, meaning that the blade comes off like this. It has a slot for you to seat that blade on, and that it locks into place with your blade drive. So I hope that's clearing some of that up for you guys. But what I want to tell you about these snap-on combs and why this may be your better option, the detachable blade, because these will save you a lot of scissor work. You have multiple sizes. This whole set will cost you anywhere from about $35 to $39 is what it should be. If you're on Groomer's Choice, if you're on Pet Edge, if you're on Chewy.com, these should always be somewhere between $34, $35 to $39, $40 for the whole set. And it's wonderful because you can use the large size to set the length on the top skull of your dog's little top knot. You can use the tighter one to come down the bend of stifle in the back of your dog's leg to set a little angulation, and down the front here under the chin. You can use this to set the cheeks. You know, you have these different options, and I like that for pet grooming, because pet grooming is all about getting it done quickly so the dog can go home and enjoy the rest of his day. It's also about having it be a comfortable trim for your dog to wear. That's what pet grooming is all about, so that they can be comfortable in their everyday life. That's what groomers do. That's what pet groomers do. So that's why the detachable blade clipper may often be your better choice. But I do want to tell you that the Kinchy Flash does come with 4 plastic guard combs. Do I like them as much as I like those metal guard combs? No, especially on a thicker coat. Those just almost go through it as if it were a blade. The stainless steel snap-on combs are just more sturdy, they lock on better, and they clip better, they look better. They feel better when you're using it, and it looks better when you're finished clipping. It just looks better. But I may want to say something that I shouldn't. Somebody, I don't know who, might be working on a new clipper. That's all I'm going to say. That may be coming out sometime the end of spring. Okay, so that's all I want to say. So if you might want to just hold off and see what happens, if you're on the fence about purchasing a clipper, then just wait, because new things are coming, guys. All right, so let me check in my notes because I want to get you some more goods. I want to give you the goods. Okay, oh, this is a great topic here I want to mention. Can all dog coat types be clipped and why? That's good. I want to give you the why. I think you all already know. No, all dog coat types cannot be clipped. Say a double-coated dog or a dog like a Labrador that has a double coat and is a year-round shedder. A dog that's not that's a seasonal shedder, like maybe your Pomeranian or your Huskies. Can they be clipped? Absolutely not. And if any professional ever tells you that that is a good idea, please go and do your own research to find out why they have that coat in the first place. Because remember, if you clip it off, you're taking away their protection from the sun, from allergens. They can get sunburned, guys. Absolutely. So allergens, the coat actually can protect them from allergens against the skin. But if the double coat is not maintained, it could turn around and backfire by harboring bad things against the skin because you're not brushing the coat, you're not washing the coat, both. So it's a definite touchy subject for a lot of groomers who do shave double coats and who do shave pugs and who do shave, say, Jack Russells and Beagles and Labs and Golden Retrievers. They do. Some groomers shave them because they listen to the pet owners say they're hot. But what I wish the groomers would say is your dog is could possibly become even more hot or cold when you take that coat away, because the coat is what regulates their body temperature. The coat holds the body temperature in place so it doesn't keep varying up and down. Because if a dog's body temperature is going up and down, they can have a stroke, no doubt. They have to be able to regulate that. That's why they pant. They pant to get their temperature where it needs to be, and the coat holds the temperature where it needs to be. So if you see your dog panting out on a hot summer day, don't let him lay out in the sun and for hours and be so hot and panty. Pull him into the shade. But they like the feeling of the sun on their bones and on their skin, on their coat, and it's good for them mentally too. But they're panting because they're regulating their body temperature. Now, that's a little different than seeing a dog that is stuck out in the hot sun for 3 hours and doesn't have a choice. Could possibly have a heat stroke, so don't confuse that. But the answer to that is, can shedding breeds be shaved? Can double coats be shaved? The answer is absolutely no. Absolutely no way, because it does damage the coat. It won't grow back the same. It may not damage it the first time you shave it, but the second, the third time, it's going to start coming in patchy. It's going to start growing in a heavier undercoat than it used to and a less of a top coat. It just totally messes up the ratio between undercoat and top coat. The top coat protects the undercoat protects the skin. So if we shave them off, neither one of them can do their job. So it's important, guys. They have their coat types for a reason. So don't look at your dog and say he's got a heavy coat. I need to do him a favor and shave it off. You wouldn't be doing him a favor. You would be doing him you would be dishonorably discharging that coat. He needs it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. You guys know this. We've talked about it before, but I have to say it. Okay, so, okay, this is cool. This is something I want to talk about. We have to discuss injuries that can happen as a result of improper grooming tools and methods. That's an important one. So one of the things I want to talk about, going back to clipper blades, Clipper blades can cut the skin of a dog, absolutely, especially in those loose areas, like where the ear connects to the head, where the armpit skin connects to the body, where the flank skin, which is right here on Vader, the flank skin, this stretchy skin, connects from the leg to the under abdomen. That loose, tender skin can be nicked very easily with the teeth of a clipper blade. But the 10 blade has very short teeth, as well as they're very tight together. So it would be very hard for the skin to get in there. But you can see like the difference on a 5 blade. Now you see that there's actually teeth on that blade, you know? You can see where skin could possibly get in between the teeth of that blade and cut your dog, especially in those tender areas. Those are the areas that are likely to get caught with a clipper. So I do want to make it very known to everybody, even a 10 blade can cut a dog, especially in those tender areas that I was just explaining to you guys. So I want you to always be aware of that. There's also something to be a little bit leery of when you're working with your dog, and that is brush burn. And that means if you're brushing your dog over and over and over again with a slicker brush in the same spot, that's too much. You know how when you were little and you used to walk on your arms and drag yourself like army crawl across the carpet, and you would end up with all that rash on and rug burn all over your arm? Well, that's what brush burn is. Same thing. It's traumatizing the skin is what you're doing. When you brush a dog, you want to kind of go and move slightly each time, and then you can come back, but you're not constantly in the same area on it. And that's how you would create brush burn, by constantly brushing over and over. You want to keep moving the brush and then go back to that area and then go back to that area. It's okay to do that. So brush burn's a real thing, and that you will mostly see when using a slicker brush. These are all 3 slicker brushes. I know I said, guys, there's so many different brushes, and there is. But really, the only one, if you could only have one brush, and that was it, you're going to want some type of slicker brush for all breed types. Even like my bulldog is a very short coat, or a boxer, or a French bulldog. They have a very short coat. But what is nice about the slicker brush is if you're gentle enough, but you're getting to the skin, you're actually exfoliating the skin, which increases blood flow to the skin, which increases good health to the skin and the coat. So if you could only have one, I say it's a slicker brush. As a groomer, if I could only have one brush, I would have to have a slicker brush. Because this is a slicker brush too. It just has longer bristles. This is a Chris Christensen. This is like a $75 brush. This is a 4Paul's $10 brush. It's still a good brush, honestly. This is a Mat Zapper by Activet. So it's a $65 brush. I mean, there's all different prices. But the slicker brush is most important because this is what actually removes dead hair too. Now, I don't mean shedded hair when I say dead hair. I mean dead hair that it needs to come out of the follicle, or it's going to start winding in with the good coat and becoming a mat. And a little mat starts to become bigger and bigger as more coat that was not brushed out and relieved from the coat stays there. It will keep winding in that little mat. It's almost like rolling a snowball down a hill, you know, making a big snowball. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you keep adding more snow to the snowball. You keep adding more hair to the mat, and the mat's going to get bigger. So I am going to tell you, if you ever have to trim mats out of your dog's coat because you're just not able to brush it out, with a little quicker slicker or some type of leave-in conditioner to aid in brushing out mats. It does help to brush out mats with products like that, or even a little coconut oil. Massage it in the mat so you can brush it out. If you can't brush it out, you do need to clip it off. Never ever use a scissors to remove a mat, guys. It can be done, but you're not a professional. If you are a professional, you still got to be leery. I'm not even going to show you the proper way to remove a mat with scissors because I don't want you to do it. So what I do want you to do when you have mats is get your 10 blade. You can either use that on a 4-in-1 or a 5-in-1 clipper set to a 10 setting. You see that? Or you can just use your 10 blade on your detachable blade clipper. And you can probably just use just this little corner of your blade, and you're just going to get under the mat and between the mat and the skin and push down and lift up, and you just remove that one little mat. Typically, the rest of the hair will cover it and it won't look so bad. You'll often see mats behind ears. The worst thing you could do is go in there with a thinning shear or a scissor because that skin is loose and easy to catch too. And when the hair is matted tight like that, it's actually pulling the skin out a little, so it's easy to catch it in those shears. So I don't want you to do that because I know you guys don't want to do anything that could possibly hurt your dogs. So I just wanted to say, if you do have mats that you cannot get out with bathing and brushing and conditioner, shave it out with a 10 blade. So back to brushes. I have 3 more here I want to talk about, guys. This is a pen brush. This one is made by Kenchi. I did link Kenchi's website down below because I'm kind of talking about a lot of their tools here tonight. You know, we talked about the Kenchi Flash 4-in-1 clipper, shears, brushes, a lot of things. So I did link them so you guys can go check out all their products. They have wonderful pet grooming products. This is a pen brush, and this is really nice, even like for my poodle doodle Gus, who has a poodly coat. I like to fluff him with this, as I wouldn't just want this as my sole brush because it doesn't pull out enough of his dead coat as I need it to. Otherwise, he'll mat. But this is nice if he comes in and he's got a little bit of mulch or mess or leaves or anything. This is a nice, gentle brush that I can just do a little maintenance brushing on him. You know, it brushes his ears and his tail out really nice too. But when it comes down to removing dead coat on that heavy coat, I do need a slicker brush. So, but you may like, now these come in all 3 different sizes. This is the large. If you had a beautiful Maltese, you may like this brush for your Maltese, and your Maltese might like it too. If you had a Yorkshire Terrier, even possibly a Shih Tzu or a Lhasa Apso in full coat, this could be your brush. A Havanese, yes, this could be your brush. I still like a slicker brush because I know it's pulling out dead coat. If I was showing my dog, I would not use this brush on a long coat. I would use a pen brush. So next on the list is a boar bristle brush. Now this one has gotten hair settled in it. Seems that there's hair everywhere in this shop. This is a boar bristle brush, and what they do nicely is kind of polish the skin and coat, and it releases oils from the skin and it polishes through the coat. Really nice on your short breeds like a Great Dane or even a Chihuahua or Boston Terrier. This polishes that coat. My English Bulldog, little Gus, wonderful on him. I even have his favorite brush is a boar bristle brush. This one has a bamboo handle, and it also has the rubber curry on the other side, which is also good for stimulating blood flow and exfoliating his skin. So this is a nice combo for a short-haired dog. And I got this on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's linked in the description of this, but in my Bulldog video it's linked. I'm pretty positive because I used it on Gus. He really likes it. And you can also use this in the tub when you have your dog shampooed up, to just, because this is kind of waterproof. This is made by bamboo. You know, to pull dead coat, to stimulate blood flow to the skin and just get it extra good and clean. But this boar bristle brush, it has 2 different types of bristles. You can see that some of them are just kind of like regular brush bristles, and then there's some of the boar bristles in there. So this would really work nice even on, like, after you had your dog brushed out, say a Sheltie coat, even a golden retriever. It's not going to pull out as much dead coat, but it really is going to polish the coat and make it silky and shiny after it's all brushed out. So sometimes you might like to use this brush on that coat type. If you were showing that dog, yes, you would use these two type dog brushes because you don't want to break the coat. It's very important. But remember, we're pet groomers, the majority of us, and we're not so worried about breaking some of the coat. I mean, we don't want to damage the coat, but we definitely don't want our dog to wear mats. And that's our biggest concern as pet owners, and having a clip that feels good to them, that's easy for them to wear, and that works well with their lifestyle. So that's our brushes that I wanted to talk about. The boar bristle brush is nice. It polishes the skin. So the coat on your short-haired breeds. Really, it adds a lot of luster. So that's one thing I like. You always have to have a metal grooming comb, guys. These come in 1,000 different makes, shapes, and sizes. Let me show you just a few since we're talking about them. There's tons of them. This is my poodle comb. You'll notice all the hair in it. No, my poodle comb has larger teeth between, each versus a normal standard metal comb. You can see the difference because the poodle coat is thicker and heavier. Also, in our poodle coat, we want to raise that coat. We want to lift and raise and hold it there so we can scissor it. So that's why the poodle comb has more spaces between the teeth. Then we have combs that have rotating teeth. This I really like. It helps to demat. I don't think you guys can see that. Anyway, they spin around as they comb through the coat. So it just helps you to get through as you've brushed out your dog and now you're just, pulling out those final few dead hairs. This is a nice comb for that. It's also great to use in the tub if you're trying to comb conditioner through your dog's coat, especially a double coat, when you're de-shedding them with a comb in the tub and just pulling out some of that dead coat while the conditioner's in. Just like in my golden retriever video, guys, that's how you properly de-shed a double-coated dog. It's a good one. Go watch that video. So, but the main reason why we use grooming combs is not to demat a dog. It's to lift the coat so we can do our scissor work. Okay? So we comb, because when we do our clipper work, some of that hair just kind of mashes down into the other hair. So when we're finishing the dog, and we're just getting ready to have him go home, we want to comb everything up and see if anything's sticking out. Because as soon as he runs out of here, the hair's going to pop out all over the place, and you're going to go, oh, he doesn't look professionally groomed, So your work's going to look a little shabby, and that's not what you want. So definitely use your comb to always comb everything up, even when you use a clipper or a guard comb on your dog, so you can see if there's still some hairs that are going to pop out and you need to scissor them off, okay? Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about when we use guard combs to set the length on our dogs, on their legs, on their body, everywhere we can set the length with guard combs. Will you still have to then come back and use scissors? Yes, but not nearly as much scissor work. Not nearly as much scissor work. This saves you a lot of scissor work because it really takes the bulk of the coat off evenly. And all there's left to do after that is comb the hair up after you've gone over the coat or the legs and the whole body, whatever, with your guard comb. You comb everything up. If anything is sticking out, then you use your scissor and you come around and you just scissor off those last little areas that are sticking out so it looks nice and tidy. You're also always going to need to use your scissors around the bottoms of the feet. The clippers just can't. You can shave the pads of the feet with your 10 blade, obviously, and I have videos on my channel to show you how to do that. But you're going to find that, you've got all this hair sticking out around the toes, so you're always going to want to come around with your scissors and tidy up that foot so it looks nice and round, how we like to have it. And that's the same with the legs. Oftentimes, dogs don't care to have the clipper run around their legs. They may really mind that. So you will do what you can with your clipper or your guard comb, then you'll comb everything up and you'll scissor it, even with the length that you just set on with your guard comb, okay? So there's always going to be a little bit of detailed scissor work to do. So you do. If you could get away with only one shear, it would probably need to be a straight shear, because you can easily trim around the pads of the feet with that, as well as you can trim the corners of the eye. You can set length. You can, you know, tidy up the length from your clipper work and all that with a straight shear. I can do a lot of work with a blending shear. In fact, sometimes I only use a blending shear on a dog, but I always will want to use my straight shear to trim around the feet, because it's just quicker and it's less likely to, you know, nick a pad. So I don't want that to happen. So your straight shear, which means it's straight, not curved, is definitely going to be one that you have to have before you have any other shears. And I prefer an 8-inch. Some people say, no way. They want to have even a 6-inch. I can't work with a 6-inch. I bought a 6-inch curve. I really like it, but I find that I'm just constantly scissoring. And I'm used to my scissors doing much more because I have a larger scissor edge on it, you know, blade. So we all have our preferences. I guess I'm just very used to that. Let me see here. One more thing I wanted to talk about is shampoo. We talked about some bathing tricks. One of the things that you always want to know is that you're using a pet-safe shampoo for your dog, preferably something that's soap-free, dye-free, detergent-free, okay? And you'll see down here where this says 42:1, and that is the dilution ratio. That means this dilutes 42 parts water to 1 part shampoo. So this gallon of shampoo is going to last a long, long time. And don't be afraid. I wanted to get a mixing bottle, guys. Give me a second. Don't be afraid to buy that gallon of shampoo if you're only taking care of your 2 or 3 dogs at home, because it's not going to go bad. As long as you don't add water to this gallon, you're fine. When you want to mix the shampoo, that's what these mixing bottles are for. And you can see the ratios. It tells you approximately 8:1, 10:1, 16:1, 24, 32:1. You say, well, 42:1 isn't on there. Well, then just guess. You can see this up to here is 32:1, meaning 32 parts water and 1 part shampoo. So you can guesstimate what 42:1 is going to be, right, guys? All right, so buy it by the gallon. Tropiclean is a wonderful brand. It's affordable and it's good, safe stuff. I also like Bark to Basics a lot. I like it because it cleans the dog so well. It's biodegradable. It's dye-free, perfume-free. It's pH balanced for the pet, and it's affordable. And both of those products, the Tropiclean and Bark to Basics, dilute beautifully in my Prima bathing system, because you know I use a Prima bathing system, so it's very important. I also like Coat Handler. I think that's a good affordable product, especially for, you know, somebody who's got a few dogs to wash. So you don't want to be spending $80 for a gallon of shampoo. But don't forget to always check that dilution ratio. And I love this one by Tropiclean. 42:1 is a really large dilution ratio, and I can even push that further in my Prima bathing system. But I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to like this. I'm not too fond of the smell. It's not bad. You would think it would smell more fruity. It doesn't. It smells a little bit more like baby powder. But the smell that lingers behind after you groom a dog really is coming from your conditioner more than your shampoo. Your shampoo just doesn't have the power to linger that the conditioners and the what am I calling the things that they enrich conditioners with, the blends, the proprietary blends of essential this and that. That's what lingers in the coat and gives you your why can't I think today? You know, like your deodorizing properties, your odor neutralizing properties. It's mostly coming from your conditioners, not your shampoos. But that Tropiclean 42:1, this is the cherry blossom. it cleans beautifully. I mean, the coat feels squeaky clean when it comes out. So I would definitely recommend it. And these mixing bottles are great because it kind of gets you in the ballpark of where you want to be when you're diluting, because you don't want to add any water to your gallon of shampoo, or now you are ruining it. When you add water to it, it must be thrown away in a couple days, no more than a couple days. So that's why you try to only mix what you're going to use. So that's very important for a bathing tip. Another bathing tip that I always like to tell you guys, it's very important. And here, where is it? Oh, it's not an earshot. Wait a minute. This here, the Tropic. I think I have all my grooming tools. I'm stepping over stuff. The Tropic Clean Spa Facial I love, and I've been recommending this for 3 years to you guys because it's so safe to use around your dog's eyes, especially, and you can still get them really clean. It's very important to clean your dog's face around the mouth. They get a lot of bacteria and food buildup and nasty stuff that can turn into a little bit of a fungal infection in their mouth around here. So it's very important to clean your dog's face. Some products are a little harsh to use around the eyes and the nose and the mouth. So that's why I always tell you guys this by Tropiclean, this spa facial is a wonderful product. It's safe. I've been using it forever, and it doesn't irritate the dog's eyes. That's really important to me. So that's that. I think it's time to finally jump in and start answering some questions. And I see we did have a super chat from Jenny. She says, thanks for being you. A $20 super chat. You are so getting saluted, Jenny. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it pop up there. Yeah. I'm so glad you could join us. I saw you were just cutting out of work and you're like, yay, I made it. Thank you for that super chat. You're very kind. You don't have to do that. I'm here for you guys. We're doing good things. We're doing good things. All right. I'm going to come in here and scroll through and start flying through these questions if I can. I want to answer some of your questions. I hope I covered what I wanted to. I have so many things sitting out here in front of me, and I think I talked about pretty much all of them. So just scrolling up. Oh boy, come on. My chat jumps around on me. It gets a little hard. If I miss a question or something, guys, no, I didn't intentionally do it. Just want you to know that. All right, I'm trying to make sure that I don't forget anybody. All right, we're going all the way up to the top. Now I'm looking here. A question from Amy Ortiz. She says, what is the proper way to hold a poodle head so that you can trim the face with a 10 blade? Well, one thing you want to do with a poodle is stretch this lip out, because dogs all have this wrinkle pocket right here on the bottom of their, both of the bottoms of their jaw and the lip. So you always have to put your thumb in here and stretch your poodle lips back and gently run the corner of your 10 blade to clean that out too. Otherwise, when your dog pants, you'll then see these two whacked out big pieces of hair sticking out of your dog's mouth. I always hold my poodle faces. Guys, just go back and watch any of my poodle videos. You'll see when I trimmed Big Gus. I just shaved his face the other day in the live stream video. That was the video about safe harnessing, the live stream. I showed you how I shave his face. You just watch what I do. I pretty much hold and guide them with that long snout that they have. It works out great. I think that's why they have that long snout. So I pretty much use the snout, okay? It's tricky shaving a poodle face and the feet. You get used to it the more you do it. Because at first you're just wondering how that might feel to the dog, you know? So take your time and be very safe. All right, looks like Mary Lawson had a question. Just adopted a Couton de Tulier. I forget how to say that, but I know what it is. It looks like a little fluffy white dog, and they're so cute. If I keep his ears as short in a puppy cut, do I still have to pluck the ears from inside the ear? Yes, that has nothing to do with it. The hair inside the ear is the hair inside the ear. You can have a nice clean ear on the outer ear, but it's still going to grow hair inside, guys, okay? Your dog, Mary, may not get an abundance of ear hairs, so you may not have to do it too often. But if it is packed in there, you're going to want to remove it, as much of it as you can, because it can harbor bad things in there, causing problems, okay? So I want you to know that. Aunt Christine says, are blenders, thinners, chunkers all really the same? They're all blending shears, but they are not all the same. Of course not, Aunt Christine, because as you can see, this one has, this is a 17 tooth. This is the Kenchi Love. This is going to remove a large amount of coat, almost as much as a straight shear. Okay, because you can clearly see that it basically is, there's not much left. And you're cutting a lot of hair. It's still blending. It's still blending, and I like to do full haircuts with this guy. This is a nice shear, and it really looks cool, and it saves me time. But that's the difference. The difference is in the amount of teeth, how long your blade is. So if you've got 40 teeth and you have an 8-inch thinning shear, blending shear, then you're going to cut more hair than you would if you had a 5-inch 40 tooth. Okay, so those things matter. If you guys are in the market for shears and you're just not sure what you want to do, Kenchi is very good with their customer service. They are very helpful to listen to your concerns. They know their shears. They know what you may be looking for if you just explain to them what your level of expertise is, what coat type you like to trim, or you're looking for trimming, how big your hands are. They can match you up with a shear, okay? Better than I can, because that's what they do. That's what they do. But yes, they really are thinners, chunkers. No, thinning shears, technically, the only thinning shears are both sides of the blade have teeth. So you will not see that very often, if at all, in dog grooming shears. You will see it on the beauty side, where you'll see a true thinner. But and if somebody says thinning shears and they're using blending shears, you know, no need to be politically correct. It's not that big of a deal. It's blending, thinning means they're thinning, they're blending the coat. To me, it's not a big deal. Some people want to know specifics, but that's not a thinning shear, it's a blending shear. Well, okay, you're right. But it really just blends the coat is what it does. All right, so don't get all hung up on all those technicalities. Let's see here. We're going to scroll on down. There's my friend Noor from Egypt. It's very late for her. Thank you for joining us, Noor. You know we love having you here. Mary says, thank you. Just adopted my second dog. Oh, I keep his ears short, so I still will have to pluck a few of the hairs. Hey, listen, Mary, it's okay. If you're nervous and you don't want to do that, then simply take your doggies to, a groomer. Set up a standing appointment every 8 weeks for the groomer to pluck and clean the ears. It doesn't take them long at all. And if you're nervous about doing it, then take it off your plate. Don't do it. It's okay. If you do the rest of the trimming and you're just not comfortable with that, then that's okay. It's okay. Take them to a groomer. Aunt Christine and Valentino says, Mary Lawson just adopted her second dog. She keeps asking, okay, gotcha. I got it. I saw it. All right. You guys keep me on my toes. Okay. Hang on. My chat bounces around. It kind of gets goofy. I see some more questions. Okay. Aunt Christine says again, Amy, could you please explain the tension knob on the scissors? Okay. Yes. The tension knob, you can adjust this. This is a tension knob, guys. And Most shears have them, not all. As you can see, this one doesn't have one. I think a lot of the Kenchi shears do. Most of the Kenchi shears do. So you can adjust this tension knob, and you don't want to adjust it much. This one clicks into place. And now that I adjusted it, that's pretty good actually. It was good where it was at though. But if I keep opening it up, now you'll see your shear just falling. That's not even terrible. You don't want your shear to smack down like that, to just fall down by itself like this. That's too loose. That's too loose. See that? That means there's too much play in between the two blades. You're going to actually get, you're going to have, it's not going to cut very well for you. I like this guy a little tighter, but technically you would want to be able to loosen it up so it falls a little bit on its own, but not smacks all the way down against the finger hole, like that. See, it didn't go. So I'm going to tighten it. I like that mine a little tighter. Yeah, it just feels good to me. So that's what the tension knob is. That's where you want to set it, okay, Aunt Christine? I hope that made sense. You want to set it so that when you hold your thumb hole up and you let it go, it doesn't smack back down into the finger hole, but it does move a little bit on its own, okay? If it's too loose, you're going to feel like your shears are kind of dull. That's the way it's going to feel. So you're going to think they are, and maybe they really aren't. Okay, so, let's see. But Belinda says, I use the Wall KM10 because you said so. I love it. I'm telling you guys, I won't tell you the wrong thing because I want you to have success. That's why I want you to have success. And I want you to know that the same products, tools, and equipment that is available to professional pet groomers is available to you too. That's what I want you to know, because when you walk into Walmart and their pet center, and often PetSmart, you don't find quality products. PetSmart does carry a lot. I will say that. I give them kudos. Walmart doesn't. They don't sell your pet clippers and your pet nail trimmers and stuff like that that are good quality. So you're being misled, and I don't think it's fair. Miss Hamey says, best clipper for pads of feet. Best clipper for pads of feet? Well, you have a couple options. If the only thing you're trimming is the pads of the feet, you can simply just get one of those little, you can get the Wall Mini Bravera, and there's also a Wall Mini Arco. And I think they're like maybe $60, something like that. And that is only a 30 blade. So that is only 4 pads of feet, but it does a fantastic job. It's lightweight, it's easy to use. You can easily get a replacement blade for it if your blade goes dull. It's a nice little clipper. So Wall Arco Mini or Wall Bravera Mini, if you're going to just be doing pads of feet only. That would be a good one. All right, let's see here. Sherry Lean, hello. Sherry says, I'm confused. I'm confused by the 2 sets of blade lengths on each side of the switch of the Kenchi Flash. Can you explain? Yes, I can. I absolutely can, and I'm going to show you why the one says S and the other one says D. Give me a second. I need to grab my other blade so I can show you. And this is going to clear it right up for you, kid. I promise. So, the S stands for standard. So when you see the little dark circle that says D and the little dark circle. Can you see that? That says S right there. The S is for if you're using the standard blade. The standard blade is the one that comes with it. That's a 4-in-1. And most of the time, I think even with a 4-in-1, they automatically throw in the detailer blade, which is this guy. See how his teeth are finer, even finer than the standard blade? This would be great for a poodle face, especially around the muzzle. This would be great for the muzzle on a Cocker Spaniel. This would be great for the touch-up work on your Continental clip on your poodle. This just makes an even smoother clip. So if you're using this detailer blade, which is optional, then you're going to go by the D setting. If you're using the 4-in-1 blade that came with the clipper, that's called the standard, then you're going to use the S, which starts at a 9, goes to a 10, 15, and a 30, okay? So basically, the blade that comes with the Kenchi, the 4-in-1, is your standard blade. It's the S. So you're going to follow the instructions. Oh my goodness, I can't see backwards. You're going to follow the instructions on the S side. Okay? I hope that clears it up. That's a question a lot of people ask. And thank you for asking it, Sherry, because I think you just helped a lot of people by asking that question. So, CMN says, I have heard you talked about clip-on combs, but when I watch Maddie's video, the miniature schnauzer, okay, Maddie's the miniature schnauzer, you don't use them. Are the combs worth the dollars if you're just, hold on, are the combs worth the dollars if you're just grooming my own schnauzer? If I was just doing a schnauzer because they don't have such a thick coat, I prefer to scissor the legs and the skirting and the beard on a schnauzer. That's why you didn't see me using it on Maddie. I typically don't use guard combs on a schnauzer because I really love hand scissoring schnauzer legs. So that's why. You could use it if you wanted to take a shortcut. You could absolutely use the snap-on combs on the legs of a schnauzer, even to set the undercarriage length, the skirting here, okay, the feathering. You can buy these as a set. You can also buy them all individually by size. And you will notice, guys, on each one it tells you it's identified with a number. This is number 4. And it also tells you the length of the clip. This is a 1/4 inch. Each comb tells you that. So if you just wanted to buy one comb to use over a 10 blade or a 15 or a 30 blade to save you some scissor work on the legs, you can do that. You can buy them individually, which is another cool thing. So hopefully that helps you, CMM. Yes, I did not use snap-on combs on Maddie, the miniature schnauzer, because I like to scissor those schnauzer legs. All right, so let's see here. Jared had a question and forgot. I see Raquel reminded him with the line, which also made me look up so I can see his question. Thank you, Raquel. Raquel's awesome, isn't she? So Jared says, Jared Worry, there it is. What are the best clippers for small dogs? Well, it depends on the coat type. So if you've got a little Yorkie or a Maltese that's kind of a thin coat, I think you're really going to love the Kenchi Flash, and you can buy a whole combo set with a 4, 5, 7, and 3 blade. But I also want to tell you there may be another clipper coming out in May. So you might want to wait. It might be. I don't know. Somebody said maybe. I heard somebody talking about it. Might be worth waiting for. But I would say that your Kenchi Flash is also a really awesome clipper. It really is. So if it's just a little dog, you could totally get away with that. If you're going to be leaving length, you may not like the snap-on combs that fit the Kenchi, and they only fit the Kenchi. Okay? So if you buy a Kenchi Flash, you only get the plastic snap-on combs that come with it. And I'm not sure that you would like that if you wanted to leave length. But let's say you wanted to use a 5 or a 4 blade on a poodle, you may like that with this clipper. If you're clipping a small dog like a Shih Tzu coat, I think a 7 and 5 blade is all you're gonna like. A 4 blade is gonna look a little choppy. A 4 blade always looks choppy. I don't like 4 blades. It even looks choppy on a detachable blade clipper. So I think the Kenchi Flash could serve you quite well on a small dog. And they also have that combo set that sells you all those blades with it, which is nice. It's not a cheap clipper, but it isn't a cheap clipper. I mean, it's not a piece of poop. It's nice. All right, so Paul says, hi, Amy, greetings from London. Hello, Paul, greetings. That's awesome. Any chance you can do a full groom on a Samoyed? Boy, do I wish I could. I used to have one that I did every 5 weeks. His name was Cosmo. I groomed him for like 10 years. He's since passed. Boy, was he beautiful. And I would hand scissor in the rump a little bit so he stayed clean. I would hand scissor his furnishings on his legs and his feet. And he was just gorgeous. But if you watch my Newfoundland video, Paul, that is pretty much how I would handle the coat on a Samoyed. Is the same as I did in that video with Tracy. So maybe that'll help you, okay? The time will come that I will be going to the dogs, guys. So a lot of the breeds that I'm not able to get my hands on as clients, I will seek them out and go groom them, okay, and film that. So that's coming in for the channel. I'm only going to get more and more in depth with the breeds and the breed standard trims and the videos that I put out for you guys. Okay, I'm not the type of person to really ever be content with my work. I always want it to be a little, I want to do more. So don't worry, guys. There's more coming. Good stuff coming. All right, Awalana. I am not saying that right, and I apologize, honey. I love you, so please forgive me. Hello, Amy. She says, I'd like to ask what kind of scissor oil, that's a good question, scissor oil that you use and how often you oil them. Also, thank you so much for always taking the time to help us who need it. I so appreciate you. I appreciate you. That's why I'm doing this for you, honey, because you take care of your dog, and you deserve it. You deserve this information. I'll go grab my clipper oil and I'll show you, okay? Good question. Ugh. I don't want to trip over all my stuff I got laying all over the place. Oh my goodness. Okay, I get a paper towel here. Careful, Gus. It's dangerous. All right, here we go. All right, you can use any clipper oil for your scissors. Okay, I use this Andis oil, which is also what I use to oil my clipper blades. But when it comes to scissors, it is actually important to oil them. It's a big shear. I don't want to use that. So you can clearly see that this guy is pretty dirty. He's even got some little hair particles in here. You can use and I don't have one within reach. I'm not going to walk away from you again. But you can use your blade brush that you would use to clean out the teeth of your clipper blade and just get the particles, brush them away from inside your shear here. Wipe them down gently. Don't forget your shears are sharp. Put one little drop of oil right there and one little drop of oil right there. That was a little generous. I don't want to get this on my computer. Wiggle it, move it around. So just move the action of your shear. And you're just working that oil. You can see it in there. See it? And you're just working it in there so that your shears stay in good shape, and then you want to wipe off all the excess. So open them all the way up and just gently wipe off that excess. And I would do that, honestly, I probably only do it about once every couple days, but I'm grooming quite a few dogs sometimes. Sometimes my weeks aren't as busy as others. But you guys, if you're just doing your dog at home, I'd say, because then your shear's going to be sitting for a while between grooms, I would definitely clean it and oil it after each use when you're done. And then put it away, and it's nicely lubricated and ready for the next use. and clean, okay? I'd say that's a good rule of thumb, especially if you're only grooming your own dogs, because your clipper's going to sit for a while where you're not doing anything with it. So definitely clean it before you put it away. It's a good question. All right, let's see here, guys. I'm almost done with questions. I see we got one from Kathleen Bronson. Says, Amy, how do you read the numbers on the Kenchi Flash? Well, I did talk about that. I showed you guys. Depends on which blade you're using. The D is the one that comes, no, I'm sorry. The S is the one that comes standard with your Kenchi Flash. This S stands for standard. You can clearly see when it's set all the way down, it's at a 9. You give it one click, it's at a 10. 2 clicks is at a 15, and all the way up is at a 30. That's how it works. So hopefully that helped. Okay, I know it's confusing, guys. I know. It'll all sink in, trust me. Crystal says, can you tell me when to use the 7 blade, the 5 blade, the 30 blade, and any other blade I'm missing? Well, the 7 blade or 5 blade is usually a body blade. I wouldn't use that on a face. I wouldn't use it in the privates because it has teeth. It can catch skin. Your number 10 blade is always the blade you would use in a private, never a 30. A 30 is too close of a clip and it'll cause major clipper irritation. Could even require a trip to the vet because it could get infected. So always only a 10 blade in the private areas, which is around the corner of the eyes, the armpits, the vulva, the penis, the anus, those areas. Always a 10 blade. You can use a 30 blade in the pads of feet, but that's the only place I would use a 30 blade. Okay, Crystal? And gently, because you can cause pain with a 30 blade, the pads of feet, if you're pushing too hard, or if you're improperly scooping out and, you know, going in that V shape in the pad. I don't want you guys to have bad grooming sessions if you're going to be doing it. I'm trying to help everything go successful for you with good results. Stella says, what is the difference between shedded hair and dead hair? So poodles have dead hair, but not shedded hair. You're absolutely right, Stella. They have dead hair, just like we do. Stella, you're not a shedding breed, are you? I don't think you are. I'm not either. But when I brush my hair out before I wash it in the shower, I get globs of my hair in the brush. That's dead hair. That is hair that is just coming out of the follicles because new hair is going to grow in. And don't forget, a dog's follicle, one little follicle on a dog contains about 10 to 30 hairs. So they're going to, though they're not shedding, they're losing dead hair because new hair is always growing in. So it's just the same as, you know, our hair. I want you to realize that, Stella. You're not a shedding breed, Stella, but you do have dead hair that is going to be falling out periodically of your own head. Same with your dog. So hopefully that makes sense better. Okay. Pamela says, I love your suggestions on the coconut oil. However, I seem to be fighting my standard poodle not to eat it all. My Gus loves it too. And our friend Nicole, Grooms by Nicole, Life with Nicole, she said the same thing. She has a white standard poodle named Winter. She said she once ate a whole jar of it, which I think would give you a bellyache. Big Gus loves it too. In fact, coconut oil is okay to put a little bit of that in with their food, maybe a teaspoon or so in with their food, because it's good for their skin and coat, especially this time of year in the dry weather. It's good for them. It's good for you too, guys. So, yeah. That's funny, Pamela. I deal with that too with mine. Tara says, is there any arms that you could attach to a table so that I could groom easier? Great question. Yes, there are. There are grooming arms that you can just purchase the grooming arm. I might even have one linked in the description, so you want to go look. And attach it to maybe an island, depending on how your island is put together, or even a kitchen table where you could put a drop cloth on top of it, your kitchen table, and then the grooming arm, so you can just wad up the drop cloth and take it out. Or maybe even on a card table, if you're just talking about a wee teeny little dog, a card table would be okay because it gives you room to work and it's stable enough for a very small dog, not a heavy dog. and then you can attach a grooming arm to that. But yes, Tara, it's a game changer. And don't forget, you definitely need a grooming loop. You always have to have your dog on a loop with the grooming arm, but it's wonderful. Crystal says, if I have a difficult dog that's very anxious, is aromatherapy for doggies good? I use the Thunder camping spray. What's your opinion? Should I give him a break? Listen, some dogs that are anxious, some dogs just are. They're just called like nervous Nellies, and that's just the way they are. So that may never change, but you want to be able to get them to willingly let you groom them, you know, and it may take several grooming sessions until you see improvement, but you may never get that dog to stop panting throughout the groom because they're just nervous of it, okay? But don't, you know, it may not happen because it's that dog. They're just a little bit anxious and nervous, so it may not always happen. But you'll notice when you get more compliancy from a dog, which means they trust you, and that's the important thing, that they can trust you, okay? They may not like the process. They may not like being away from home, and that gives them a little anxiety. But as long as they learn that they can trust you, that definitely will get them through the groom. Jared said, do you have any tips for grooming cats? I have one video on my channel, Jared, of me grooming my cat, and basically it's de-shedding her safely in the tub. It was a good one. It's called, I don't know, how to de-shed your cat, or why do cats shed so much, or something, I don't know. It was a good one. She's a long-haired cat. I don't shave cats. I don't work with cats in my shop. I'm just a canine specialist. Becky says, do your slicker brush bristles have the little balls on the ends? No, they don't. No, because it's not going to grab coat. Those little plastic rubber balls is going to slide through the coat. It's not going to grab coat like we need our slicker brushes to. You know, that would be more close to a pin brush at that point if it has the little balls on it. It's just not going to grab the coat. So, let's see. I think I'm pretty caught up. Helen says, which brush would you recommend for a show springer? A show springer, and you might want to give Kenchi a call, as they have wonderful brushes too. I would say probably you're going to want your pin brush. You may want a slicker brush to be used down the back. Didn't I bring my Kenchi slicker brush over? I guess I didn't. You may want to use a Kenchi slicker brush or any slicker brush down the back of the jacket of the dog, you know, when you're carding down the jacket, but the pin brush on the long furnishings so you don't break them. But call Kenchi because they will let you know for sure. They know their brushes. I just, you know, I don't really groom show dogs. Anything that I know about show dogs is because I went out and sought out that information, or I worked with somebody who had a show dog and helped them just to learn. But I'm not a show dog groomer, so I'm not going to tell you guys things that I can't be 100% sure of, because I don't want to lead you astray. I'm a pet groomer. That's what I do best. King of Aliens says, if a dog with a double coat cannot be shaved, would it be okay to give them a small trim? And what areas would be okay to be clipped? I tend to trim around her butt fluff and her paws. Yes, absolutely, King of Aliens. That is okay to trim. It's the areas where there's that double coat, okay? If you clipped into her double coat, it's going to grow back thicker, which is then going to make her even more hot or matte more, you know, or whatever. But trimming around the paws is always okay. Trimming around the hiney for sanitary reasons absolutely is okay, because you have to. It's what's best for her. It's what's best for you. But trimming, you know, down the body, shaving, that would be wrong. So yeah, you can trim those feet. You can trim that hiney. You know, that little dog, a cheerleader butt. That's okay. Just don't give her a tramp stamp like my Gussie had. It was, ugh. All right, guys, I am about out of breath. I could go on and on and on. I want to tell you guys, Jenna's a member. Welcome to that's my cousin, Jenna. Well, not really, but it probably is, because there's not many Woodingtons out there. I'm going to have another members private Zoom session. So Jana, hopefully you can join us this weekend. I believe it's going to be Saturday. I'm going to shoot for maybe around 12 because that'll be a little earlier for some of our folks who are out of the country. Nor I will be sending you an invitation, honey. Don't worry. And we're going to talk. We had a wonderful session last time. It's always good. I could see. We were on Zoom for 3.5 hours, guys. I mean, the conversation was just wonderful. Just like now, I could sit here all night, but I just can't do it. So I want to tell you, all you members, I appreciate you being members, and I'm going to be seeing you this Saturday. And if you can't join, don't sweat it. I will have a link on the community page that will tell you how you can go and rewatch it on the replay. But we would love to see you there because we get to be face-to-face talking, and it's wonderful because I love getting to meet you guys too. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions, guys. You can always email me. I do my best to answer as many emails as I can, and I try to answer the comments. But at this point, yeah, I can't keep up with everything. Please don't be offended. I do my best. Maybe I will get help with that area. I'm looking to get help with other areas on my channel that is really going to benefit you guys. So hang in there, honey. We're getting through this, guys. We're getting through. We're shaping up our ship, okay? So I want to thank you all for being on board. In fact, I'm going to salute every single one of you. You all deserve it. That's for all of you for riding on my ship. That's right. The Go Groomer ship. It's nice. We're better together. So I am going to let you all go, and I will see you next Monday. Hopefully, I will have a video before that, something for you guys to chew on a little bit before we get together on Monday. But don't forget, members, I'll see you Saturday, okay? I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I want to thank Jenny for the super chat. I want to thank everybody for their support. It's wonderful, and I hope we're all better together. I know we are, so there's no question of that for me. Okay, I love you guys. My throat's dry. I gotta go. My gosh, I talked a lot tonight. I'll see you next Monday. Have a good week. I love you.